Hey everyone, just want to welcome you here. I'm on a tight schedule, so that's why I'm going first here. But I want to thank you for being out in D.C. I understand you're doing some kind of competition as well. Is that right? So you're supposed to be like different parties? I see. Who's the orange? Which one's the good party? Orange. Well, I really appreciate what you're doing. I'm a big supporter of homeschooling. We have a lot of homeschoolers in my district. I think we need to have as much education choice as possible in this country. Parents should be able to decide how they educate their kids. You should be able to work with your families to make those decisions for your life, not have bureaucrats deciding that. So I really appreciate what you guys stand for and what you're out here doing, and want to encourage you to stay involved in the political process, stay involved locally, and see if you can work your way up. Maybe someday you'll be in Congress as well, and you can make a huge impact on this country that way. But you're making an impact at home at the local level anyways, even with what you do here today. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you. So, welcome today. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you're interested. Stay interested and stay engaged when you go back home. I mean, pay attention, because if you don't pay attention to what's going on in Washington, D.C., you may not have a voice in your future. So I'm glad to see you're up here, that you are engaged. I know you're doing some kind of mock political thing. My advice to young people who want to get into politics is don't major in political science. Go do something real for a while, get some experience, because there's not enough real people here in Washington, D.C. Become a real person first and then come to Washington, D.C. My background is engineering and science. I have 24 patents. I went to MIT and started a business after that. But the reason I got into politics is I realized that I couldn't just not pay attention anymore, that government was important. So I got ticked off and I got involved and I became a congressman. So whatever path you choose, I hope you choose freedom and liberty, and whichever party that is, orange, blue, or yellow, hopefully it's all of those parties. That's the one I would vote for. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here. I'm a big fan of homeschooling. We have some great homeschool families in our community. In fact, we nominate our homeschool folks for West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force, and they often are some of the best candidates we send to help lead our country going forward. So I encourage you, if you've got an interest, in the service academies or any of those areas, make sure we know about that, because I think we can sort of help you reach your dream. I only have 2 points today, quickly. One is that you think what's going on here may not impact you, but in fact, almost everything we're debating today has more to do with you than it does with us. And it's because these issues, we can solve them for the short term, for a couple of years. How we solve them right for you, that's the big debate. The economy, really a poor recovery, really struggling. We got to get it right so you guys have the choice of good jobs when it's time for you, when you finish college, when you're ready to go to work. Taxes, big debate about taxes. My fear is that if the government grows so large, that our debt gets so big, that they raise taxes on people your generation, so when you get a job, you have less money in your pocketbook to actually chase your dream. When we look at issues like energy, just the thought that you could grow up, you could live your life and never have to worry about the Middle East, because we're producing American-made energy that we control. That's a game changer for you guys. And things like Social Security, which is the retirement plan for seniors, or Medicare, which is health care for the elderly. Some of you are already working. How many already work? Okay, the government's already taking money from your paycheck, and they're saying when it comes time for you to get health care, time for you to get retirement, that money will be there for you, but it won't unless we make some changes to make sure that promise is kept. And then we are fighting a lot over Obamacare, or the president's health care bill, because we think that it puts the government in between you and your doctor in future years. So we're very worried about your generation in trying to make the right decisions today. That's why we have disagreements, just because we want to make sure you have greater opportunities than we did. It's pretty simple. More liberty, more freedom, more opportunities for you guys. And so that's what the fight is all about. I'll finish with this. We always talk about the power to vote. Let me give you an example. If this homeschool group is America, as you know, when you're 18, all you have to do is register to vote. But in America, only about 60% bother to register. So if this is the whole country about this group over, you were eligible to vote, you just didn't bother to sign up. And so on election day, on a good election, like for the president, about half the people show up. So you guys were registered, you just didn't bother to go vote. So this group right here, for this side, makes all the decisions for all the rest of the country. They talk about the power to vote is because those who register and those who show up, informed voters, you make all the decisions for the rest of the country. And there's no question from what you've learned from your parents, from your teachers, from your reading, just from your knowledge, that you always want to be in the group shaping this country. And all you have to do is look around here to see what our founders did in shaping the nation. We want you to be in the group that's making the decisions. With that, I live in the Woodlands. It's near Houston, Texas. My wife and I have 2 little baby boys. I commute to work each week to Washington. I don't live here. And in fact, we figured out I have 2 million miles flying back and forth. I'm just finishing my 4th round trip to the moon, flying back and forth. And that's because we want to stay out of the bubble in Washington, want to make sure we represent our families and neighborhoods and communities back home. I think it's the only way to go. With that, thanks very much for having me here. I hope you guys have a great trip. Thank you.